Hi, and welcome to Intuitive Insights. On this channel, we talk about everything to do with the Ascension process, or otherwise known as the massive spiritual awakening that's going on Earth right now. And today we are going to be talking about the full moon in Virgo.
Yeah.
Yes. This is a very exciting energy that we have going on right now. I'm actually super, super excited to do this video for you guys today because, this energy is going to be like a breath of fresh air. I think there's so many powerful things going on around this full moon, and it's going to be beautiful. We talk about, you hear the phrase 2020 vision getting thrown around a lot by people, and I think for a lot of us we've kind of been like, okay, but like, when's that going to happen? Because I'm feeling really, especially with the Mercury retrograde and everything that's been going on the past few weeks, like more fucking confused than ever. So where is this clarity and this vision that you speak of? And it's coming. So the full moon is going to be happening on the 9th or the 10th, depending on where you are in the world. And it's happening just the same day that Mercury goes direct. So Mercury is stationing direct in Aquarius on the same day as the full moon. And this is a huge deal. This is, a chance for us to kind of catch our bearings in a sense. We've had so much coming up with this Mercury retrograde. We've been just kind of submerged in this very idealistic, very kind of hazy sort of energy. It's been really beautiful and intuitive, but there's been just a lot of confusion too, and a lot of just not really, not being able to get our heads on straight, not being able to, as you can see, communicate straight, just everything to do with organizing our thoughts and our mind. It's been very challenging because we've been lost in this heavy Piscean energy. And now Mercury, actually, as we're filming this, I believe Mercury is just now entering into Aquarius. We're filming this on, what's today, the 5th, I think? Yep. Yeah. So we are starting to get some of that clarity, but it's still moving retrograde, and so it will be stationing direct. Now, we have a lot of other things going on as well. So whenever we have a full moon, what we have essentially is the moon is opposing the sun. And in this case, the sun is in Pisces, and it's also conjunct Neptune. So this is Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. It's that very, very heavy, very it's that mystical energy, but it can be very much, it swallows up everything. So it's conjunct the sun, it's swallowing up the sun, it's swallowing up our sense of self. It's swallowing up we're losing a lot of the ego identity. It's sort of like a dissolution and a death of ego in a sense. And we're kind of just like free floating in this place of just not really knowing who we are, what's going on. It's like we want to be making all these plans and moving forward, but we don't even know. We're just kind of losing even our sense of self in a way. And so I was looking or visualizing the chart, the astrological chart in my mind, and I saw the sun and Neptune over here, and then the full moon in Virgo, and it was like this laser beam of light just sort of focused at the sun and Neptune. And it's sort of like this breaking apart of the clouds. It's like we've sort of, and the sun and Neptune have been conjunct pretty much all week. So this isn't an energy that's just now happening with the full moon. This is an energy that we've been in. And it's sort of like the full moon in Virgo is like that laser beam focusing and breaking up all that haze and just kind of making everything clear. It's bringing us this incredible sense of clarity. It's, we have Pisces, which is, like we said, that idealistic, very intuitive, sort of ethereal kind of energy. And then we have Virgo, which is a very practical, very stable, very grounded kind of energy, very logical energy. And so there's just a way that we're able to perceive and understand things. It's like cutting through all the bullshit, cutting through all the fog, getting right to the heart of whatever's been going on. So that's going to be an incredibly helpful energy, just allowing us to take all of that idealism and all of those feelings and those emotions and this stuff that's been coming up, and kind of like organize it in a linear and practical fashion and make like a plan for moving forward, which I think is something that a lot of us have been wanting. And just not, it's like all of this stuff that we want and all this stuff that we feel, and some of it's very conflicting and it's all coming up at the same time, and we're desiring a path forward in our lives but just not really sure how to get there right now, I think has been a big energy. And so this is going to help show us, and we're being supported by a lot of other planets as well. We have Venus right now, which is conjunct Uranus, and this is happening in Taurus. So this is a really beautiful energy because we have Venus, who's, the planet of romance and partnership and creativity and beauty and finance and all of these earthly matters. And then we have Uranus, which is that rebellious, inventive, sort of outside the box kind of energy. And so it's supporting in its own way. It's a separate energy. It's not connected really with what's going on with the sun and the moon right now, but it's another energy that's definitely present. But this is kind of focusing us especially on those aspects that relate to Venus. And so we're having possibly realizations and understandings, sudden inspirations around things like our finances and our partnerships and our own sense of value and self-worth, the things that we value, how we value ourselves. All of that stuff is coming up, and all of a sudden we may have unexpected circumstances that come up, and all of a sudden like we saw no solution to whatever it was that we were dealing with in these areas, and then all of a sudden it's like the proverbial lightning bolt comes out of the sky, and we have this sudden realization of how we can make something happen or how something fits, or we're presented with a sudden opportunity that we didn't expect. Any of those types of things can come up and can happen. And so this is a very dynamic energy. It's also a highly creative energy. Uranus is that inventive genius kind of energy, and Venus is that planet that represents creativity. So we can really like jump on that and harness that energy. And energy is going to be present, I think, close to a month. Like it's, we're going to be feeling it. It's not just with this moon. So that's definitely an energy to be able to tap into and really, ride out. And it's definitely helping, I think, support the rest of what we have going on with this full moon. We also have Pluto and Jupiter that are making friendly aspects to.
It's interesting.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh, this moon is nuts. It's very interesting. So we have, and sorry, I'm just trying to like organize this in my mind visually, kind of visualizing it a little bit. So we have trines being made to the moon by Pluto and Jupiter. And so a trine is like it's kind of a benign aspect. It's not especially motivating, but it's very complementary. So I see this sort of as just kind of bringing some assistance to that Virgo moon. They're both in the sign of Capricorn, so it's a very stable, grounded kind of energy. And it's just bringing in that supportive energy, especially when it comes to Virgo's ability to really be precise and logical, and that planning and that stability aspect is definitely being strengthened by these planets in their sign of Capricorn. And then they're making sextiles to Neptune and the sun, which is also a complementary aspect, but it's a very energized kind of an aspect. It's sort of like that inspirational. There's a lot of creative mind energy associated with the sextile aspect. And so we can really use this to our advantage. Look at what these planets represent. So we have Jupiter, which is expansion, it's faith, it's, philosophy, it's all of this kind of stuff. And then we have Pluto, which is the planet of transformation, and it's the planet that represents our shadow. And, like Pluto likes to really dig deep. It likes to look at all of the stuff that's uncomfortable and to really like get to the root of it and expose it and understand it so that it can integrate it. So we have this incredible energy of like expansion and integration and, just faith. Jupiter is that planet of optimism and faith, and it is very reality based in the sign of Capricorn. But still, that's what Jupiter represents. So we have this ability to look at all of these, it could be, I'm not going to lie, it could be uncomfortable. We're getting a lot of clarity, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's all going to feel good in the moment. This is going to be experienced differently for everybody, depending on where we're at and what it is that's being revealed. But we do have the capacity to really go with that and really dive deep into those aspects of ourselves that are coming up. That are, like always, it's aspects upon aspects that are coming up to be healed, because that's what it's all about. But it's the way all of these combinations are happening, they're very fortuitous aspects, and I feel a lot of that Jupiterian kind of like lucky energy. Like there's a lot of luck and inspiration, and if we can look at it like we've talked about in past videos, of just like as a game, and sort of like being excited by the things that we're discovering and understanding about ourselves, and how fascinating it is and how beautiful it is that all of this is coming to the surface so that we can heal it. We can keep it as a lighthearted kind of energy, and it doesn't have to get heavy, because it has the possibility to go both ways. But I think just because we're going to be getting so many insights and there's going to be so many solutions presenting themselves, that we're not, no matter what it is that's coming up, like it's going to be exciting, because all of a sudden there's a path forward where we didn't even think there was a road there. And all of a sudden, not only is there a road, but it's paved and there are signs, and it's, it's showing us exactly where to go. So that's a really beautiful energy to capitalize on. In addition to all of that, we also have Saturn and Pluto, who have been doing their dance for quite some time now. Saturn is getting ready to move on from Capricorn and into Aquarius. And that's going to be happening on the 22nd, ironically enough.
Wow.
2/2. Yeah. So it's in those final degrees right now, and it's still within a few degrees of Pluto. So they're still pretty close to each other. And which planet was I just talking about right now? Mercury retrograde, Saturn. So as Saturn moves...
I'll just reflect it back to you.
Fucking
Look
retrograde.
into my eyes.
Fucking retrograde.
You'll see.
As Saturn moves on into Aquarius, we're going to have Jupiter coming up. Jupiter.
Mercury retrograde. Motherfucker.
Jupiter.
Yes. We're just making up our own language now. No big deal.
Just follow along.
Yep.
Follow along. Is approaching Pluto, and we are going to have a conjunction of Jupiter and Pluto coming up. And so that it depends on people's, different people consider planets conjunct when they're within different degrees of each other. So some people can consider Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter to all be conjunct during this full moon. I look at it more as Pluto and Saturn are still conjunct, and Jupiter's energy is sort of moving toward them, so it's kind of influencing the relationship of the two of them right now. But regardless, we have Saturn in those final few degrees of Capricorn. So this is the point where we're really integrating fully the lessons that we learned through the conjunction of Saturn and Pluto. We're in those final few degrees. We're really getting more insights where that's concerned too.
Yeah.
Like the final pieces of that are coming together. Like the energy of Saturn and Pluto is an energy of self-mastery. There was some area for all of us in our lives, and it would depend on where Capricorn falls in your natal chart. But I'm sure you know what area, because you know what's been going on in your life. There's been an area of our lives where we've been asked to step into that level of self-mastery. And so we're getting those final pieces of that now, and really getting the clarity and seeing how that all comes together from a higher perspective, and the reasons that we went through all those things that we went through, and really internalizing those lessons that we learned.
I don't mean to cut you off, but as you were talking about all this, I was imagining it, and then I just heard it's a map. So we're given a map of something in regards to this vision and the way that it's all manifesting, or because you know how you were saying before, like we weren't able to see that there were certain roads there and things like that. So there's something about a map.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, even just in the grander scheme of things, I mean, the astrology is a map that shows us the energies that we're navigating. And it is sort of, I think that's a big part of the energy, is we're being handed, like, okay, so you've gone through all of this, you're starting to understand why. Now here is where you're going.
Right.
Or here's how you get there.
Which was a part of us learning how to trust the process. And of course it's always going in that way.
Yeah.
But with these certain aspects that you were saying with the self-mastery and with all the 11s that have been coming up, at least for me with synchronicities and then a lot of our other videos, and it makes a lot of sense that with the vision and the 2020 vision, and then how you were seeing all like the lines and all of that, and it makes so much sense in regards to now we're being gifted with this vision of where we're going.
It's cool, and it really is tying everything in together. Because I wasn't sure if I was going to get into this or not, but now, just because of where this is going, I am.
Okay.
So sweet. The way that we can look at these configurations that are happening between the sun and the moon in opposition to each other, with the trines and the sextiles being made by Jupiter and by Pluto, is they make these like triangles. And there's actually 3 triangles being made between these connections. So we just came out of the 3-3 portal as well. So it's like tying in that energy. It's like everything's being tied in together, and we're really reaching this deep place of integration. We have all this earth energy going on too. We've got planets in Taurus, we've got all these planets in Capricorn, we've got the moon in Virgo. And so
it's anchoring it in.
It's anchoring.
I was thinking that as you were sharing before about how certain things are being brought to light in certain aspects in the very beginning when you were talking about that, and that I heard integration into the physical. So that makes a lot of sense, and why it can be proved to be challenging, because it's just pushing out the things that aren't serving us and that we're not taking with us on this new map or this new adventure into another form of self-mastery in another way.
And we're integrating into the physical, and as a result we're going to need to really take care of our physical vessels as well. We have Virgo is a very physical body related sign. Also Taurus, which we were talking about, is a very physical body. It's all about the health. How am I caring for myself? And there's going to be a big emphasis, I think, as well on like physically caring for ourselves, especially as we're integrating all of these light codes and all of the downloads, and just we talk about the Ascension process in general. So even without all of this extra stuff going on, our DNA is being rewritten and changing, and our physical bodies are changing, and there's so much energy going on right now that I think for a lot of us it's been really overwhelming, and we really are being asked to listen to our bodies and what it is that our bodies need.
I agree 100%. With astrology, it is really beautiful because it's showing us different aspects of things, and the universe is happening, is working for us, or happening for us. So these alignments, another perspective to look at it as, is that they're aligning in certain ways to assist us on the ascension process, because that's what's needed in that time for whatever, wherever we're at in regards to that ascension. So it is really beautiful to look at it like that, and how it's all connected in regards to the evolutionary process and things of that nature.
So just a really, really beautiful, it's like from all angles, just like boom, 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 boom. We're getting all of these insights and all of this understanding, and it's that 2020 vision. It's that we're seeing through all of the illusion and everything, that's all of that fogginess from the retrograde and from all this heavy, heavy Neptunian energy that we've been in for a while. Just really taking advantage of that. It can be when we're dealing with Neptune a lot, it can bring us, especially conjunct the sun, that can bring us into that kind of escapist kind of, we just want to run away from the world and bury our heads in the sand.
Yeah.
And so we may have been wanting to do this, but I think that when this moon comes around, it's going to give us such a jolt of like exhilarating energy that we're not going to feel the need to do that anymore, because all of a sudden, like, all the stuff that was frustrating us or just like confounding us, it's all going to make sense, and it is going to be like that map where it's just like this connects to this, connects to this, connects to this, and all of a sudden,
and then all those realizations come through, like in hindsight, on the full moon. It's it's just like you were saying with the clouds that are being cleared and certain things that are just being asked integrated. So I really like the idea of us receiving insight on, you know, why things have been playing out the way that they have been. And it's really beautiful when the energy comes up of wanting to escape, because then it's nice to ask ourselves, well, what are we running from and what are we trying not to face? And what a beautiful opportunity to integrate that aspect of your soul. It's a part of soul retrieval. We're retrieving like aspects of our soul that we've left. And, you know, from one perspective that I guess I could have left on another timeline, or from a trauma, or from something that I wasn't wanting to heal in fear of pain or the unknown or things of that nature. But it's nice because, like you were saying, now, because it's going to give us that jolt of energy on the full moon, but it's more optimistic and more, I do feel like a light, fun and playful energy, like you were saying. Like if you know, from the perspective of, you know, this is a game and this is real, but it's nice, it's fun to think about it as, you know, we are, you know, the avatars, we're the souls that are operating this body and we live in this world. And from that perspective of it gives us the ability to look at it as we have the power within us to create what it is that we're desiring, because those desires come from a deep soul purpose. So I feel like it's going to be really fun as well for this full moon. So there's definitely, I was just hearing that there are some rituals that if you're looking for full moon rituals, and one really fun one that I do sometimes is I write down things that I'm looking to release or that I'm wanting to release that are coming up, and then I write it down and then I burn it outside, which can be really fun to do. So burning things is always fun. Always. Fire in general is just really cool. So just be careful how much you're burning. And where you're doing it. Yes, exactly. So well, I was thinking we could pull some cards on what you're going to be integrating right now. So I have a deck. It is the Miracle Cards by Marianne Williamson. It's a beautiful deck of cards. So so let's see. So Spirit, can you tell us what it is that is integrating, or what would you like for the viewers that are watching this video to know or hear in regards to this energy and the moon? All right, so we got spiritual techniques, which is really funny because we were just talking about, you know, the burning things under the full moon and things of that nature. So I'm feeling like a lot of ritualistic things can be really fun, and that as well as helpful in terms of integration. So spiritual techniques can not work. The question is not whether they work, but whether or not we actually do them. So I feel like that's why I was being guided to share that about the burning of things. Building a spiritual practice or spiritual rituals. You know, and also just building this into our daily lives is what I'm feeling. You know, like having some sort of ritual, even if it's something simple like a 10-minute meditation in the morning, or lighting a candle to our higher self or in honor of our guides, burning some incense. It doesn't need to be anything extreme, but just some sort of ritual that we do to connect to our higher self and to connect to spirit. And just really nourishing that connection right now. It's all about the intention, and the act of it helps seal that energy. because, we are really physical, and I feel like because this full moon is in Virgo, so it very much is asking us to do physical things in regards to our spiritual practice.
Yep.
So that can be really fun, because you are the creator and you can create anything that you want. Whatever intention you place on it, that's what it will be. It's always about perspective, which we talk about a lot on this channel, about timelines and perspective and things of that nature, because as we talk about, you can be going the same thing you can be going through the same thing, but it shifts depending on your perspective. So the future of the planet.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's beautiful. So we got the decisions we make today, individually and collectively, will determine whether the planet goes to hell or goes to heaven. So this is talking about consciousness too. It's talking about consciousness. The critical choices lie in our own hands. So we have spiritual techniques in the future of the planet. So this is all about anchoring in that fifth dimensional consciousness, or the heart-centered consciousness, because this is the future of the planet. And the things that you're doing in regards to caring for your soul and caring for your spirit make a big difference in anchoring in that new energy, that energy that you came here to anchor in. So that could be a lot of, we asked Spirit what was going to be integrated in. And in regards to your purpose and your own individual authentic way of connecting to your higher self, I feel like there's going to be a lot of insights in regards to, like Kassia was saying, with, any form of spiritual healing practice or anything of that nature, that's going to be helping the future of the planet, or is helping the future of the planet. So there could be a lot of insight in regards to your work, or whatever it is that you feel drawn to do, whether that be yoga or Reiki or reading tarot, or those are just, a few, but there are so many different ways that everyone is helping the planet and helping the planet heal and ascend as well. All right, so we also got honoring age. So what this card says is, one of the most unfortunate weaknesses in our generation is our failure to honor age. As we mature, we must rediscover the meaning and importance of the elder, the wise one. Our fear of age will be cast out as we learn to embrace its power. So what I'm feeling like with this too is a lot of the fear of death in general. There's a couple meanings to this card. So if we really stop and think about it, most of the motivation in this world is stemmed from the root of the fear of death, the foods we eat, the things we do with our body, to be younger, to feel younger, to not age, to, be healthy, or to, detox the body, or to exercise, or all those things stem from this fear of dying and wanting to live longer. And when we honor our bodies and realize that we can honor them and value them, but also release the fear and the stories that we place on death. And also in regards to the future of the planet, I feel like honoring the people around you and the elders, the people that have the wisdom because they've experienced things on Earth. It is really sad to think about, how we treat our elders, and in ancient cultures, they were the ones that we would go to for guidance, or they were treated a lot differently, because they were, I don't want to say respected more, but I mean that's kind of what I'm feeling right now as well. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Tapping into the wisdom of our ancestors.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. Yeah. Yes.
And it's interesting because there's a lily on each of these.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the spiritual techniques as well.
Yeah. That could be tapping into your ancestors, or maybe also people are going to be receiving insights from their ancestors in regards to ancient practices that are going to be anchored into the new earth.
Yes, the future of the planet is a big part of that. Yeah, I think is returning to our roots in a lot of ways, returning to that ancient wisdom, that respecting of all phases of life, and definitely of respecting our ancestors, respecting our planet. And the fact that when we talk about we're all connected, we're not just talking about like you and me and you. We're talking about the earth that we walk on. We're talking about the trees and the animals and the plants. We're talking Mother Earth as a whole. Like we're connected and anchored into her energy. And bringing back that respect for that. And those
very
spiritual
physical things.
Yes, lots of physical energy, absolutely.
Yeah, oh my goodness, that is so beautiful. Yeah, the anchoring in those, that's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's beautiful because it's that bridging, which is very much, in this energy of when we have the Pisces and the Virgo energy and the balancing of that is like bridging that physical with the non-physical.
Everlasting life.
Right after the do not, fear of death card, we have the everlasting life card.
Life is much more than life of the body. Life is an infinite expanse of energy. A continuum of love is countless dimensions. We have alive forever, and we have been alive forever, and we will be alive forevermore. Yes. Yeah. So that's reminding you that your soul is everlasting, that this body, it's a beautiful tool, and it's a vehicle for our evolutionary process, but remembering that you're a divine being, and you are gifted with this beautiful life and experience on this earth, remembering that actually releases and it kind of disengages the aging process in general, because when we're always thinking about it, or the underlying core fear of death of this physical body is the motivating factor, it actually ages us more. I'm not really sure why Spirit wants to talk about this, but there's something really important about releasing that fear and the attachment to this physical body, but also honoring it at the same time.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense.
And not being motivated by fear.
Yeah.
Like, instead of, I'm taking care of my physical self because I want to look good, or because, I don't want to die, and I'm afraid of that.
Yeah.
It's like I'm taking care of my physical body because I'm honoring this beautiful vessel that I've been gifted, through which I can experience this incredible, version of reality. I can incarnate upon this earth in this physical body, and I'm honoring that, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for all the phases of what that looks like.
Yeah.
And when we do that, we're honoring all that came before us. We're honoring our ancestors by honoring our bodies and the phases of our bodies. We're honoring nature, because nature is cycles and phases.
That's right.
As is the moon.
Yeah.
It's all the cycles and the phases that we go through, and honoring the beauty of each of those. Yeah,
there's something that Spirit's trying to say in regards to, we talk about the Great Remembrance a lot, but in regards to this storyline, it's very powerful. It has something to do with the spiritual practices that, like we were saying, that the ancestor is anchoring in some form of activation, or healing modality that we talk about. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful.
I was just thinking that too.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Spirit. You have anything else to add to this beautiful story? Oh, what a beautiful reading. Learning from children. I love that. Children are not really children. They're just younger people. We have the same soul at 60 that we had at age 10. Children have at least as much to teach us as we have to teach them. This is really beautiful, too, in regards to changing the system in regards to how we treat children and how we view them. Because my kids, when I have conversations with them, me and my son Ryan were just talking about this the other day, on how he in regards to, he teaches me so much because he actually, and I've been on this earth longer, so my conditioning actually is a little bit deeper. So because he was with Source, I don't know how to word it in linear time, but I've been away from Source in a physical body a little bit longer than he has. His energy is actually really pure and really beautiful. So rather than looking at it as, I'm your parent, you know, you have to do what I say, I know what's best, you know, and things of that nature, it's really more in the lines of really just being with them and watching them have their process and showing them also their respect that they deserve, in regards to that just because they're in a younger body doesn't mean they don't have just as much wisdom or knowledge about certain things. I know, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's really amazing. I mean, just to listen to my boys talk about the spirituality and evolution, and just to hear their perspectives on it, it amazes me, because I really feel like they teach me more than I teach them in a lot of ways. And I feel like that's changing too in regards to this, especially with the future of the planet, the elderly, and then the children. Yeah, it's really amazing how we can learn from them, and how younger kids don't judge, and they're not afraid of what people think, you know?
Yeah, they're so pure. Yeah. And untainted, and just not all, like you said, all that conditioning, all of that, well, I can't say this or I can't do this because what are people going to think, and like, how is that going to reflect, and you know, are they going to love me? Yeah.
Yep, definitely. Those are all learned behaviors and patterns, and I know for me, I'm clearing that stuff on the daily, you know, still, and I don't know, you know, what that's going to look like in the future, but I know for me right now, it's, you know, I also feel like this has a lot to do with healing the inner child as well, you know, and that could be some things that are coming through for this full moon, with the ancestors coming through to, you know, give spiritual techniques, or like the information, insight, downloads will be received in regards to spiritual insight, but those spiritual techniques are going to help you heal your inner child as well,
because we all have that innocent childlike wisdom within us still. It's just buried under all those layers of conditioning. So when we reach back to that aspect of ourselves and bring healing to it, we can reclaim that energy for ourselves. And being around children is a great way to reclaim that energy too, because they bring us into that, back into that energy with them,
and being present with them, because most of the time kids are really, at least from my own experience, they're really very much in the moment.
Very present,
Yeah, so we got war and peace. So what this says is, peace is much more than the absence of war and violence. It is a condition unto itself, which is what we were just talking about, the conditioning, you know, with the children and things of that. But our goal at this point must be the creation of peace. Without love, there is no peace. Where love is absent, war of some kind is inevitable. Yeah, that's really beautiful, because what I'm getting from this card is when we're not in the present moment, usually we're trying to change something, which means we're not at peace with who we are in that moment. And it's beautiful to, you know, want to manifest things, which we talk about a lot. But with that, there has to be like an alchemical process in regards to accepting yourself as a whole and complete being already. And then co-creating with the divine from there. I feel like this is talking about your consciousness in general, and noticing when you're in conflict with your higher self, or if you're at peace and accepting what is going on with that as well. Yeah, but with it popped up personal empowerment, which I thought was really beautiful. Another flower too. Is that?
Yeah. I think that is
a lotus. No?
Is it a lotus?
I don't know. It's on a lily, so.
It is. No, it's a. I think it's a. It could be. It could actually be a lotus. It is on a lily pad though, but I feel like, don't lotuses grow? They grow out of mud.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I think it is another lily. Just a different kind. These are like tiger lilies.
Nice.
And those are Lilies.
Lilies. So you are powerful in whatever moment you choose, which is kind of what I was just talking about with the War and Peace card. The choice is to be used as an instrument of love right here, right now, is a choice for personal empowerment. As we glorify God, we are glorified. So in every moment, that's giving you an opportunity to reclaim your power and your divinity. And maybe some of the spiritual practices that are coming through, I would say release any expectations in regards to what that may look like, because even spiritual practices is in regards to being mindful in the present moment.
Yeah.
They may not, like the tools that you're being given in regards to that may not look the way you think it's going to look.
Yeah. And we just got 2 cards about choosing love.
Yeah.
So that in and of itself can be a spiritual practice.
It's true.
Just choosing love in every moment. And we've talked about that before too.
Yeah. How
in those moments where we don't know what to do, choosing the most loving thing and doing the most loving thing.
Yeah, because that's also shifting the timeline. I mean, I can even feel resistance talking about timelines because I am aware that time is an illusion. So when I talk about it, I just feel some resistance to it, but it is still helpful for the let's see, the mind and the human bodies that we live in to look at it like that, because there's something about it that's clearing that that timeline. Okay, so Spirit, do you have any, so this is the Moonology cards. So do you have any, anything to say in regards to this full moon in Virgo for the people that are tuning in and watching this video? All right, just 1 or 2. This one wants to come out. It's like popped out. Show the world the real you. And this actually represents the full moon in Aquarius.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah, so anything in regards to maybe the hiding that we were talking about, or the escaping energy of, what was it that was bringing that up?
Neptune.
Neptune, yeah. So if there's anything around that, it could have to do with you being authentic and showing that, and they just accepting the way that, not everything is love and light all the time. And yes, we choose love in every moment, but also we have reality. We live in a world where, sometimes it's really shunned upon to be like, I'm having a bad day, or I feel like shit, or, whatever. I'm struggling with this, or I'm struggling with that, because of all the pride around it. Well, I feel like what this card is saying is just show the real you, be you, no matter what. And this full moon may bring up some stuff, because full moons tend to bring things up to the surface.
Yeah, it's amplifying emotion.
Yeah, exactly. Have faith in your dreams. A fiery climax approaches. Ooh. Yeah. So I think that was, 2 full moon cards that came out, and then the waxing crescent moon. Have faith in your dreams. So this is saying that your dreams are manifesting, that you're coming to the climax point in regards to your dreams. And they're your dreams because they're already yours. They're your dreams because it's like the divine, or you, or your divine self, whatever you want to word it, like imprinted those desires in your heart so that it would never give up on them, so that it would manifest them from the heart's consciousness, the heart, the heart-centered energy. And what this is saying is that trust in your heart, and maybe don't allow logic and intellect, to override that, or to question what you know to be true. When you really drop down in your heart, you can feel it in your bones. You can feel it, in the whole core of your being, what your truth is. So it is time to step into that and trust in your own heart, and trust this process, because this energy, that we're anchoring in as a team, as a unity consciousness, that is a part of being anchored in your own heart and trusting that.
Yeah. It's just allowing your logic to help you to get where you need to go.
Yeah.
But not have having it be the determining factor in figuring out where it is that you want to go. That's where your heart can lead you. Yeah. The heart leads. It tells us what we want. It tells us what we truly desire. It tells us where we truly belong. And then the mind's function is to come in and do all the logical pieces that are necessary to get us there, even just the simple things like, okay, you have to get up and you have to get in your car now, and you have to put the key in the ignition, and it's, this time, and so the driving is going to take about this much time. Those are the logical, that's what the brain is made to do.
Well, the brain is meant to work for the heart.
Right, exactly.
And I guess, yes, they're supposed to be united, and in that uniting of the heart and the mind, they work together as a team rather than, fighting against each other with this War and Peace card. The peace would be the unity of that mind and heart, and not to get too far off subject here, because I do want to keep it on the full moon, but to just be in the heart space. Mm-hmm. Right?
No, it is, though. Yeah. This is in line with the full moon, though, because we're talking about the polarity that we've been working with really this whole Mercury retrograde season. And because Mercury is going direct on the day of this full moon, I think it's very much, it's hugely connected to this retrograde season. This is like a peaking of all of that, everything that's been going on that we've been working with during the retrograde season. And it's that whole thing, that balance of the mind and the intuition, which is very much a Virgo Pisces polarity. It's that balancing and that learning how to meld those two together and learning how they work for each other. It's like the heart leads, and then the mind is what follows.
Yeah, now.
But what we tend to do is our heart tells us something and tries to move us in a general direction, and then our mind comes in and questions everything.
Yeah.
And tries to poke holes and to reorient us.
Yeah, well, create doubt.
Right.
Really.
Because it's functioning from that place of trauma, and our mind is governed by our patterning, our belief systems, our conditioning. Yeah. That's the lens that our mind works through. Mm-hmm. So that's why we have our heart and our intuition, because it's not conditioned by all those things.
Yeah.
And so it kind of peeks through, sort of how we have that light peeking through the clouds, right? And it tries to tell us where it is that our soul wants to go.
Yeah.
And, we can listen or we can not listen, but the call is getting louder and louder.
Yeah.
And so if we can follow that, we're being given an opportunity. And this full moon is just like this. If our mind has been, especially, which it probably has, especially with Mercury retrograde, everything that's been going on, in that questioning, poking holes kind of place, that place of doubt and all of that, all of these realizations, this rapid fire, everything that's going to be going on in and around this full moon is going to be dispelling all those illusions. It's, we're going to be coming out of that energy, and our mind's going to have no choice but to follow suit, because the inspiration and the clarity is just coming from everywhere.
Yeah, and the heart-centered energy is so much more powerful than the mind as well, even for super intellectual people like us. Yeah. Maybe hard to believe, but it is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is absolutely beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's really good stuff.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So, and it is, and I actually love how it is the full moon in Aquarius card, because we have a lot of that Aquarius energy still, and now Mercury is stationing direct in Aquarius, so it is like that, the energy is Aquarius. It's that exciting, exhilarating, invigorating, sort of creative, think outside the box, very, all of a sudden it's like, the light bulbs are going off and everything's that electrifying sort of like, okay, I see and I understand the things that I didn't see and understand before, and I'm able to put everything together in a way that I couldn't and move forward from there.
Yeah.
And Mercury is still going to be in shadow until the very end of the month. So we're getting a lot of inspiration. We're getting a lot of clarity, which is beautiful. but things might still be happening a little slower than we'd like. So it's still having patience with that process and just, sinking into, I think a lot of this reading is going to help us. This is how we navigate the next, 2 or 3 weeks while we're waiting for that energy to build momentum in our outside. We're feeling it on the inside, but our outer world may not reflect that right away. And having patience with that and just using this process of dropping back into ourselves, focusing on building that spiritual practice, that connection with ourselves, with spirit, with those people, with our elders and our children.
Yeah.
These different aspects and these different ways of viewing life, because that's what it is too, is just these different perspectives. Our elders have this wisdom and this perspective to share that comes from all of the experience that they've collected through this lifetime. And then our children have this experience to share from that freshness of, the wisdom that comes from just living from that heart space and putting together that collective wisdom and sinking into our own wisdom and our own knowledge. And we find that through these spiritual techniques and these practices of I'm seeing this now as just the spiritual techniques of being out in nature, connecting with the earth. That's what this Future of the Planet card, that's all you see is the trees and the earth. So our ancestors were very much about that. It was very much about the rhythms and the cycles of the earth. So these are the ways that we can build, this practice is connecting with the earth, connecting with our elders and our ancestors, connecting with the children and the youth and that our inner child, doing all of that. And just tapping into that flow of abundance and love, and that's where that empowerment comes, and that's where that knowledge comes that this isn't ever we do have everlasting life.
We do,
and we're having this one experience of very many, but it's just an experience, and we can live in the richness of that and really enjoy it when we allow ourselves to sink into it being here now in this moment.
And even the things that seem painful or we perceive as painful, it's really nice to look at it and be like, okay, I know, I'm just releasing something, or I'm releasing a pattern, or, thank you for showing me. And I always say that because, I go through it often, and it's really nice to just thank that energy and honor it in that moment.
We decide every moment of our lives whether we want to be at war or at peace. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, I like it.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
We get to decide that every moment of every day. So.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for spending this time with us, and happy full moon in Virgo. And if you'd like a personal tarot reading, the link is in the box below. I offer many different kinds of readings in regards to what you're going through and help you receive insight in regards to your life. So.
Yeah, and my information's down below as well. I offer energy healings. I can do those from anywhere to anywhere. The energy will reach you exactly as it's meant to, and that can really help to build that connection, help you to reconnect with yourself, to reconnect with spirit, and just really anchor you into that heart space energy. Belvaspata specifically is very much about that opening up that heart space and, helping us to come home to ourselves.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in that, definitely check out my information. If you're interested in donating, the information to do that is in the description box. Please like our videos. Please subscribe if you haven't. And thank you so very much to each and every one of you. You are beautiful, divine beings. And we're all here just sharing this human experience. And it's, we're really grateful to be connecting to you energetically today.
Yep. We love you so much.
Yes, we do. All right.